911, Lone Star may have primarily been a first responder procedural, but the romance between Carlos Reyes, Rafael L. Silva, and TK Strand, Ronan Rubinstein, ran as an important undercurrent throughout the entire series. The modern procedural hit was Ryan Murphy's second entry in the 911 franchise, centering on an ensemble of firefighters, police officers, and dispatch workers in Austin, Texas. News of 911, Lone Star's sad cancellation came in September 2024, confirming that the cast of characters viewers had followed since 2020 would have the fifth and final season to wrap up their ongoing storylines. Although 911, Lone Star gave most main characters the resolution their happy endings, the early cancellation undeniably affected how certain plots played out, giving the narrative a strict time constraint. TK and Carlos may have gotten the 911, Lone Star ending they deserved, but it was slowly earned throughout 5 seasons. Their relationship had peaks and valleys of its own, but Carlos and TK's story in 911, Lone Star was one of the longest-running arcs in the entire series. Though their love story ran the gamut, each season of 911, Lone Star had big developments for its main couple. Season 1 is a rocky start for TK and Carlos. They have an instant connection and an instant obstacle. 911, Lone Star wastes no time establishing Carlos and TK's connection. Instead of setting the pair up as a will they won't they or slow burn couple, Carlos and TK instead end up having their first romantic encounter before the pilot episode ends. While most of the 911, Lone Star cast were still finding their footing for the first season, Carlos and TK hit the ground running with a clandestine affair. Though Carlos immediately wants to explore more than just sex, TK's held back by his past. Before he and his father Owen, Rob Lowe, moved to Austin, TK was dumped by his longtime boyfriend, who he planned on proposing to. 911, Lone Star Season 1 introduces TK's insecurity as a main source of conflict and though he talks it through with Carlos, TK will return to his commitment issues in the future. After the first of TK's many near-death experiences in 911, Lone Star, Carlos admits he has stronger feelings for TK than a casual hookup. It takes 911, Lone Star's first big disaster in the season finale for TK to realize he wants to explore his life in Texas as a firefighter, and he doesn't want to shy away from Carlos. Though they don't explicitly confirm their relationship, TK and Carlos end the season with a romantic moment that sets them up for success. Carlos and TK establish their commitment in Season 2. They become a real couple. Carlos wraps his arms around TK in 911, Lone Star. 911, Lone Star Season 2 opens by confirming that TK and Carlos have been dating for months, but the couple has less than smooth sailing throughout the procedural sophomore year. Though their chemistry cemented them as one of the 911 franchise's best couples, they had their own issues that 911, Lone Star Season 2 brought to light. TK may have struggled to commit in Season 1, but 911, Lone Star Season 2 introduces the problems Carlos struggles with. While TK was the one initially against taking their relationship to the next level, Carlos fails to introduce TK as his boyfriend when they run into his parents at the farmer's market. TK reacts poorly to Carlos calling him a friend, but ultimately understands that the nonchalance stems from the poor experience Carlos had coming out. TK forgives him, and Carlos promises to work on being more open. Unfortunately, the overarching events of 911, Lone Star begin to impact the couple as well. After Owen is targeted by a serial arsonist and the 126 firehouse burns down, TK and Carlos become the next victims. The townhouse they shared began to burn while they were trapped on the second floor. The pair escapes and, making the most of their near-death experience, share their first I love yous. TK and Carlos go from exes to fiancés in Season 3. The most dramatic shift possible. Carlos and TK in 911 Lone Star. With such a romantic milestone passed, 911, Lone Star Season 3 pivoted to a shocking regression. Between 911, Lone Star Season 2 and 3, TK and Carlos broke up. The reason is initially shrouded in mystery while the teams focus on the snowstorm, one of 911, Lone Star's most intense rescues. After rescuing a child stuck in an icy lake, TK experiences extreme hypothermia. TK's paramedic partner, Nancy Gillian, Brianna Baker, tells Carlos to meet them at the hospital but withholds the information that he is in a coma. After having a heart-to-heart with his mother, Andrea Roxana Brusso, Carlos chooses to stay by TK's side until he wakes up, realizing he can't ignore the love and frustration he still has for TK. After TK recovers, the pair move into a loft together. 9-1-1, Lone Star doesn't let them rest after they reconcile, though. After TK begins to stay later at Narcotics Anonymous meetings to interact with his sponsor, Carlos feels jealous of the other man, explaining that it feels like TK's sponsor gets to have part of TK that he can't. TK helps Carlos realize it's an important part of his sobriety, but the pair are stronger after they fight. TK proposes to Carlos in the middle of the night and, despite initial reservations, he accepts. Carlos and TK finally marry in Season 4. Through tragedy, their love was fortified. TK and Carlos get married in 9/11 Lone Star. Although Carlos and TK's relationship held strong throughout 9/11 Lone Star Season 4, the series put the couple through the ringer leading up to the wedding. The first obstacle comes when TK finds a wedding venue for their special day, only for Carlos to admit they can't get married too soon because he has to divorce someone else. Carlos tells TK he married Iris Blake, Lindsay Fonseca, so that she would qualify for his health care. Reconnecting with Iris leads to Carlos being kidnapped by a serial killer, but TK finds him in time to save him. 9-1-1. Lone Star then throws another wrench into the mix during the planning period. Owen took the initiative to help make preparations for the wedding, from changing the cake to a vegan option to foregoing the couple's simple theme for something more extravagant. TK and Carlos work up the courage to confront Owen about his micromanagement, and the wedding is once again rightly focused on the couple. Carlos has an emotional conversation with his own father, Gabriel Benito Martinez, where they air out their past conflicts and turn a new leaf together. Carlos asks Gabriel to officiate their wedding, which the latter eagerly accepts. Suddenly, right before the wedding, Gabriel is murdered. Carlos and TK initially want to postpone the wedding, but Andrea convinces them to honor his memory by celebrating their love. In the 9/11 Lone Star Season 4 finale, TK and Carlos finally marry to close out the season. Season 5 introduces an addition to Carlos and TK's family. The main pairing get their happy ending. Following the whiplash from Gabriel's murder to their wedding, Carlos and TK's relationship is strained at the start of 9/11 Lone Star Season 5. Between seasons, Carlos became a Texas Ranger to follow in his father's footsteps, but he was consumed by the need to find answers. His absence upsets TK, and the pair end up going to couples counseling to air out their grievances. The